Hi everybody, welcome back to the Luton Town Let's Play. This is episode number 8 and this is our season review, which we're doing now, as you can see what's on screen, and then our transfer special. So the way it's going to work is we're going to go through the season review now and see what it throws up for us, all the usual stuff you get in a season review. We'll have a look at some players, we'll have a look at the squad planner that I've been playing about with ready for next season, and then we'll do a bit of a transfer special where I'll just cut back every now and then and show you what transfers we've made, what transfers we're potentially going to make. So let's get into the new arrivals. So some of these may have arrived before we actually got here, although these do seem like they are our ones. So start off at the top with Matheus Escoval. And the board very happy with him. I mean, he's made 19 appearances, got 3 goals, 6 assists and a 6.96. I actually think he was pretty good for us, actually. The board are delighted with the deal to sign Matheus Escoval. This is mainly due to both the transfer fee and players' wage representing great value for money. We are pleased to see that the minimum fee release clause of £8.5 million would mean an excellent deal for the club, should it ever be triggered. Now, you do tend to find with the board ratings on these that their rating is usually down to the financial side of things rather than whether he's a good player or how well he's performed for you or anything like that. So then we get into Reggie Cannon, who low-key is kind of one of my favourite ones actually, and I'm glad to see the board has said that he's an A+ as well. He's had 39 appearances, 31 starts, 2 goals, 4 assists, average rating of 6.85. Then we get into Jason Denayer. They've gone with A+ again. They're happy with all the usual stuff. 34 appearances, 1 goal, no assists, 6.74. Bubba Ruckman, 23 appearances. He's come on loan from Chelsea, will be joining us permanently. No goals, no assists, 6.69. He's starting to feel a bit underwhelming, to be honest. I think if you're around Denayer just about and upwards is a success for me. Leyduni, 31 appearances. We got him for £8.5 million. The previous ones were all free. We got him for £8.5 million. He's been given an A rating, mainly down to the player's high ability level relative to the squad. 31 appearances, 1 goal, no assists, 6.66, the demon numbers. Then you've got Alexander Diku, who's come in again on a free, 36 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists, 6.85. Then Mads Anderson was a signing we didn't make, and that's why there's no actual reaction to it. But he's made 15 appearances, only 2 of them were starts, 6.64, no goals or assists, and he came in from Barnsley for £3 million. Then we got Daryl Dyke. They've given him an A-. They're delighted with him, mainly due to the club paying so little for him. There you go again, down to the finances. I mean, he hasn't set the world on fire, has he? I don't know why he's got an A- really. 14 starts, 2 substitute appearances, 3 goals, no assists, 6.61. And then Frank Onyeka came in for 1.3 million. They've given him a C. Satisfied to bring him in on loan. The loan fee doesn't represent great value for money. He is actually coming in permanently. 31 appearances, no goals, 1 assist, 6.61. So a mixed bag. I was pleased, like I say, pleased with Escoval, pleased with Cannon, satisfied with Denayer. I was satisfied with Leyduni and Rackman. I'd say Diku, yeah, probably satisfied. Mads Anderson wasn't one of ours, so I'm not really too worried about that. I have been disappointed with Daryl Dyke, and I've been a bit meh with Onyeka as well. So let's have a look at this season's results in the English Premier League. As you can see, we finished 16th, 38 games played, 8 wins. The wins we got were against Sheffield United twice, Nottingham Forest twice, Crystal Palace twice, Everton and Manchester City. So basically, we beating Sheffield United, Forest and Palace were basically the games that kept us up, really. 9 draws, 21 defeats, a goal difference of -39. We want that improved for next season. 33 points, 3 points clear of the relegation zone. As you see, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest and Wolves are the teams that have gone down. But look at that horrendous start. I mean, by the time we got beaten by Wolves there, I really wondered how we was going to turn this around. We had a really good period here, a period of 7 games where we picked up 5 wins, a draw and a defeat. I mean, that was excellent. We was lucky that we had the likes of Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Forest, Palace, Everton, all in that area. But then we went on another terrible run again. And then we finished with a few wins here, which were the few wins we needed to keep us up. And then obviously there was this 5 defeats in a row along there. Carlton Morris, top goal scorer with 12 goals. 96% of their stadium was used for attendance. C+, the board are pleased that the team staved off relegation from the Premier Division this season. In the FA Cup, they say C+. I was disappointed, quite honestly. I mean, we beat Maidenhead just, and we narrowly lost to West Ham, knocked out in the 4th round. And then in the Carabao Cup, they've given it a C there. We were knocked out by Wolves in the Carabao Cup 3rd round, so didn't really have any cup runs last season. Moments to remember, biggest win was a 4-1 win against Crystal Palace. Goals from Morris, 2 from Musqui and 1 from Mendes Gomez. The match to remember was a 4-2 win against Nottingham Forest. And goal of the season came from Mendes Gomez running from inside the Nottingham Forest half. The attacking midfielder skins an opponent before scoring a fierce shot. I don't think there's actually a way of being able to watch that goal, is there? Or can you click on that? No, nothing going to happen. Oh, hang on, something's happening. Generating match report. Here we go. So let's watch the goal. Well, it weren't that one. That's Wanye Mendes Gomez. Is it this one? Doesn't look like it's going to be this one. There's a Mendes Gomez goal there. I mean, this is a lot of playing about. Yeah, is this actually going to be the goal? I've got a feeling it might be this one. So let's have a look at this one. Ball comes into our half. Here we go. Gomez picks it up, charging forward. I mean, this was a good goal, to be fair. Look at that for a goal. There you go. So that's the goal. That's our goal of the season anyway. The finances, so Leyduni, Ogbeni, Morris, Campbell and Dyke sell the most shirts. Their club reputation, previous is 3 stars, it's still 3 stars apparently. I thought we might have got a little bit of a increase in that. No new sponsorship deals. That's all the annual revenue. How you lined up, so this is what they consider to be our most frequently used team. Walton in goal, Bell at left back, Cannon at right back, Dicker and Denier in the middle, Leyduni and Campbell in the midfield, Mendes Gomez, Ogbene, Dyke and Morris. I mean, I would have said Esquivel there, but maybe because he came in the second half of the season, who knows. The accolades, so all these records are there because it's the first game of the season, but the fans player of the season is Colton Morris on a 6.9 average rating. He's their player of the season. The young player of the season, Daryl Dyke, again I'm a bit surprised at that. Signing of the season, Daryl Dyke, again I'm surprised at that. Goal of the season, Carlos Mendes Gomez, as we've just seen. Top goal scorer, Colton Morris with 12. Most assists, Matthias Esquivel with 6. I mean, that says a lot that he came in January and ended up being a top assist maker. Colton Morris, 4 player of the match awards, gets the most player of the match awards. Highest average rating was Colton Morris. I mean, Colton Morris cleared up really here, isn't he? Most passes completed per 90 minutes. Jason Denier, 53 passes per 90 minutes completed. History in the making. Luton owe their survival to powering through the middle of the season. That's true. That really set them on their way. Barry Mitchell from BBC Radio 5 Live, you're not wrong. Everything is won and lost in the heart of every season, and that's been the case for Luton as they celebrate avoiding relegation. Pablo Navarro from One Football. Then we go to our manager timeline. It's not the dynamic timeline anymore, it's the manager timeline. So this is it. Morris is a record breaker. High upside, no downside. Lane Park and Barry Cox signed on the dotted line for Damien Hill. Who? Ably demonstrating his eye for nabbing high potential players at little to no cost. I mean, who's Lane Part? Oh, these from our youth intake. So he's got potentially 3.5 star potential ability. Barry Cox, I mean, he's only got 3 star potential ability. I don't think they're going to be massive for us. So yeah, that's all that. If you want to have a look at it, pause it, read it. And that is the end of our season review. So, we've got budgets, folks. The budgets have been set. We will look at that very shortly. I just want to take you to the squad planner. So, here's next season. I don't know what's happened there because I did want... Oh, okay, so it's in this one. So we'll start off in goal. Shea is leaving, so we've only got Jack Walton in goal. By the question mark and poor positional depth, as you see, that is our main priority to get, or one of our main priorities to get a goalkeeper, and it needs to be a better goalkeeper than what Jack Walton is. At left back, we've got Amari Bell and Baba Ruckman. What I've done is I've taken out players that can play in that position, but basically are not going to play in that position. So we'll get to that more when we get to the central defenders. So we've got enough depth. We've got a rating of 3. If so, it's not going to be a position we're going to initially aim to recruit for, but if something better comes up, then we will look at it. On the right side, Cannon, Osho and Burke. I will actually move Burke up because Osho, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to look at letting go. He's on £30,000 a week. He's the highest paid player there out of the right backs, and I'm probably not going to use him. Reggie Cannon at the moment is going to be our first choice. When we get to right-sided centre-backs, we've got Denea, Diku, Lockyer, Anderson, Cannon, Burke, Osho. Now, Cannon, Burke, Osho are all down here because they're not likely to play in the central positions unless we've got an injury crisis, whereas these 4 would be. These 4 all have... They're all right-footed, basically. When we move over to this side, as you can see, we've only got Amari Bell, who's not really going to be playing in there, but I've put him in there anyway. Anderson and Denea. Now, Denea, like I say, none of these are actually left-footed, but Denea has a reasonable left foot and a very strong right foot, whereas Anderson has a fairly strong left foot and a very strong right foot. So because they're reasonable to strong on the left foot, I've left them on that side for now. Whereas if you look at someone like Dicker, for example, he's got a weak left foot. So if they've got a weak left foot, I'm not going to have them in this section. It makes no sense. I've not applied that logic to the midfield positions, but here we go. So you're getting a look at the tactic as well here that I'm looking at going for. So we've got 4 here: Leiduni, Onyeka, Campbell, and Pelly, Ruddock, and Panzu. There are 2 positions, so I'm looking at having 4 midfielders. I would really like a 5th because the other tactic we've got is the 4-3-3, where you have the 3 central midfielders, like the 2 here and the 1 behind. Now, when you go over to this side, it's the same 4, and don't pay any attention to the fact that Onyeka's got that next to him. He's going to be joining us on a permanent basis. The reason why this is 2.5 compared to 3.5 there is because obviously this is for a deep laying playmaker. None of these can really do deep laying playmaker, whereas they can all do ball winning midfield and they can all do the defensive midfielder role a little bit further back. So what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at potentially getting rid of Pelly, Ruddock and Panzu, and I want to bring in a couple of deep laying playmakers so it just evens it up a little bit, and by doing that, that will solve that little situation. We've then got the winger on the attacking midfield right position, which I have set a player instruction on there for him to cut inside with the ball, because this one over here is an inverted winger, which will obviously cut inside anyway. So it just means they will cut inside. So we've got Esquivel. I'm pretty happy with Esquivel and Ogbene, to be honest. Jordan Clark can play out there and Gomez can play over there as well. They're not particularly strong over there, but they can. But these are 2 that if I don't get a right-sided winger, I'm quite happy to go with these 2. Then over on the left-hand side, all we've got is Carlos Mendes Gomez, and he's not particularly great. So I am looking at getting someone that's a lot better than him over here. There are some of these that can play over there as well, but we're just not looking at actually getting them there. And the same within the centre. So in the centre we've got Esquivel, Jordan Clark, and Alan Campbell. Again, Campbell, I think, is more along more that type of position. He can play up here, but again, I'm not looking at him being a regular there. In fact, I might even take him out. So then we've got Jordan Clark, who's not particularly good there. And then we've got Esquivel, who, like I say, is likely to be playing over here. But it is possible that I'm going to put Esquivel in here and have Ogbene on the right. So we'd have Mendes Gomez, Esquivel and Ogbene. So we're looking a little bit different without even bringing anybody in yet. But again, so as you can see, goalkeeper, left-sided centre-back, left-sided inverted winger, and an attacking midfielder there. They're the 4 positions we're really looking at going for. Then up top, we've got Dyke, Morris and Woodrow. We are going to be only having 1 striker in this formation. In the 4-3-3, we also only have 1 striker. I have got the 4-2-4 wing play there because we know it, but we're not really going to be looking at playing that, I don't think. So Daryl Dyke and Colton Morris are our 2 main strikers. Cordy Woodrow, I want to get rid of him. He can't do the complete forward role anyway. He can do an advanced forward, but I've just not been impressed with him. He's done nothing for us this season, so we're looking at getting rid. So if we go into our squad, and if we start off with Amari Bell, well, actually what we do is we do it from the squad plan, I think. So yeah, Jack Walton, we're going to look at keeping him in the squad because he can be a squad player. Whether he's going to like the fact that he's not a first choice goalkeeper anymore, I don't know. But his current ability and potential ability both do say that he's a good Sky Bet Championship player. So not really good enough for the Premier League. And that's the same for a lot of these players, really. Bubba Ruckman, like I say, if we look at his contract details, don't think it says it there, but it should say it up here somewhere. Loaned from Chelsea, joining permanently on the 30th of June. So in just over a month, he will be a permanent player for us. He will be there for the left back position along with Amari Bell. Amari Bell is really my preferred option at the moment. Reggie Cannon, I've been quite impressed with him this season. I really have. He's not done too badly at all. And although it does say Championship player, and there's this close to full potential. So this is our squad at the moment. There will be players leaving. As you can see, if we filter by contracts, we're going to be having... Oh, there you go. We're going to be having these 5 all leaving. Well, no, actually, no, we're not, because Ruckman and Onyeka are staying. But James Shea, Onya Dima and Alfie Doughty are all going to be leaving. I'm looking at selling Carly Woodrow. Potentially Jordan Clark, Pelly Ruddock and Panzu. Joe Taylor will probably be sold as well, or go down to the under-21s. Then as we go further down, Osho, we're looking at selling. And it depends if we get offers in for many others. So that is the end of season review. I'm now going to play forward through the game, and I'll join you when we come back for pre-season, which will be beginning of July, like the 1st of July, whenever the pre-season is. So we'll have a transition now, and I'll see you for the start of pre-season. Okay, so before we go any further, I forgot to show you the budget. So as you see, I still haven't looked at them yet. So we've got here, Doughty's resuming full training. That's not really an issue for us. We'll come to the budget section first. Transfer list notification. So rank. I mean, he's got lots of potential, actually, this guy. Let's have a look at him. So he's 21 years old. He'll 22 later this year. He's 3-star current ability. In the defensive midfield role, we could train him as a... I'm quite interested. We're going to add him to our shortlist. I'll just do indefinitely, in case I forget or anything, you know. But looking at our scout report, he's requested to leave, so that 6.8 million should be a set 6.8, 6.75, whatever. He's exempt for registration, being under 21. Okay. Works well within the team. New signing, club vision, objectives. Yes, that is true. Displays a fairly determined personality. Good understanding of the language, which is good. Fairly adaptable when it comes to living in another country. He's a consistent performer. He's a committed player. And he's versatile. So that is all good stuff. Agent could demand a high fee. Needs to work on becoming more clinical in front of goal. To be fair, he's going to be a defensive midfielder, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. He's probably going to get sent off a lot. And he's going to find it difficult to fit in with his teammates. So But he's got a reasonable left foot and a very strong right foot, which I'm kind of looking for this, where their weaker foot is at least reasonable. Looking at his stats, overall attacking great. I've not really paid this part of it too much attention, to be honest. Pros and cons, we haven't got any match reports. Okay, I'm interested in him. If he can play the deep lane playmaker, then going back to our squad review, he can absolutely fit into this one here. And if what's Penny Ruddock and Panzu's valuations? If we can get a couple of million, say 3 million for Mpanzu, then that's only 3 to 4 million we're paying for the other guy. What's his name? Astavrank. Okay, so quite interested in him. Thank you very much for recommending that. Luton Town season review. So this is all the stuff that we've had before in the season review. Looking at our supporter profile, the core has gone down by 39%. We've lost 27.7 thousand followers on social media. Well, I'm disappointed in that, I've got to say. Family has gone up by 15% as well. Analyst performance, if you're interested in all that, you can read it. Club vision expectations. The board would like to discuss the club's long-term vision and outline our initial expectations both for next season and the years ahead. The competition objectives for next season are only provisional for now and will be finalised in the coming months. Play possession football, play attacking football. I mean, they do realise we're Luton, don't they? Make the most of set pieces. They're disappointed in that at the moment. Develop players using the club's youth system. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. Work within the wage budget. Grow the club's reputation. Build a new stadium. That's them. Maximum 1-year contract for players over the age of 32. Maximum 2-year contract for players over the age of 30. Minimum 3-year contracts for first team players. Attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier. Now that's interesting because last season it was just a flat out avoid relegation, whereas now it's attempt to avoid relegation. So that tells me that even if we end up getting relegated, we might not get sacked. Now I think it'd be different if we're just rock bottom of the Premier League, losing game after game after game. But if we're in and around and with a chance of avoiding it, I think we'll be okay. And basically for the next 4 years after that, it's just attempt to avoid. So they don't really want us to do anything. They just want us to attempt to avoid relegation. And then my contract expires at the end of next season, which is fine because this is a beta save. This is an early access save. And we're probably not going to do a third season here. Squad dynamics. Oh, we need to accept the current vision. Yeah. Squad dynamics. Good managerial support. Average dressing room outside firing, get that. And Panzu is one of our team leaders that we're looking at going. James Shea is a highly influential player. He will be gone. We're going to be looking at getting rid of Corley Woodrow as well. So we could be losing some leadership things there, but hopefully we do get that back. Right, discuss plans for next season. I hate this bit because it always goes wrong. Thank you for coming. I want to take the time to gather our thoughts at the end of a long season. They're slightly positive. That's a bonus. So I'd like to talk about our Premier Division aims for next season. Oh, they're very positive now. Or they're positive anyway. I'm optimistic we can avoid a fight against relegation and stay up comfortably. I don't know if I want to say that. Going into next season, I think we're in a good position to avoid relegation. Maybe that one. Oh, okay, they're positive. That's good. Outstretched arms. Brilliant. That's just what I want to hear. I'd now like to discuss some promises. Oh, I don't like all these promises. I'd like to focus on the progress being made towards fulfilling the club vision objectives. I have nothing else to talk about, so thank you again. That'll be all for now. Yeah, they're happy with that. I'm happy with that as well. And there you go. We've had a bump in most of them's morale. I mean, Alfie Doty is expressionless and miserable. Glad he's leaving. Okay, so board budgets. Well, there you go. I did say I'd like a minimum of 30 million, and they've given us 30 million. It's almost as if they've been watching this series. I mean, if they have, I hope they've left a like on the videos, because that's always a good thing to do, by the way, folks. Transfer budget of 950,000, which is around what we was on last time. So if we come over here, Yeah, that's basically what we've. So we've got £130,000 to spend at the moment in the wage budget. Now there has been a very nice gentleman in my comments section on these videos been leaving me tips on players to potentially sign and things like that, and I'm absolutely going to look into those players. I'm not guaranteeing that I will absolutely sign them, but I will definitely have a look at them and see if I think they will impact us. And it's Adrian Davies. So I was just looking for your name on my phone there, on my YouTube Studio app. So Adrian, thank you for your comments. It's really appreciated. And I will absolutely look into them players while I'm doing the summer transfer window. If I think they're going to add something to my team, bearing in mind, I like to have a certain kind of players. I don't like players that are too old, and it's absolutely no knock at you. I massively appreciate you for getting involved in the comments and giving recommendations. Please carry on doing so. But let's see what we end up with at the end of this episode. Okay, so I'm going to finish going through this bit here. New season team report, that tells us that. Perel issue season injury report. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's just ridiculous, this injury list we had. It really is. I mean, Alfie Doughty spent 7 months of the season out. Daryl Dyke was out for 5 months. That's before he got with us, really. In terms of the number of injuries, I mean, don't even know who he is, or him. I mean, is there anyone here from... Oh, there you go. Ogbene got 4 injuries, kept him out for 20% of the season. Carlton Morris picked up 3. I mean, there's a lot here that I'm presuming are for my under-18s and things like that. So they're on a end of season break. They're not asking us where we want to go for pre-season. Okay, I thought we usually get a thing there telling us where it would like us to go. So pre-season has... or the pre-season break has started now. We come back for pre-season... Where we are now, June. It's usually around the 1st of July. Let's just have a look. That's the recruitment meeting. And as you see, Ruckman and Onyeka, they're loan-ins, but then they join us permanently over here. And there's Shea, Onyedema, Doughty, they leave. There's 21 under 21s contracts, blah, 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 blah. And beginning of pre-season, they go 1st of July, as I said. So the next time you see me, it will be the 1st of July. Okay, so welcome back. It's the 3rd of July in game, and we've been busy with transfers in and out of the club. So let's go over to the transfer screen. Actually, do you want the transfer screen? What screen do I want? There you go, transfer history. So, you've got some views on here of things that are going on, but we'll come to those in a moment. So, Bubba Ruckman and Frank Onyeka, they've had their transfers from Chelsea and Brentford respectively confirmed. 1.3 million for Ruckman and 4.5 million for Onyeka. On the other side for transfers out, we've had Luke Berry has left for St Johnstone on a free, and Peli Radakampanzu has left for Brianza for 850,000. We was wanting 2 or 3 million for him, but I just wanted him gone. He just isn't good enough. It's not a view that's been shared by the rest of the squad. The club atmosphere is very poor, and I've had a meeting with the team or with the squad because they want something done about the atmosphere, all this sort of stuff. But I'm pretty confident by the time we've got some more players in, praise training, all the usual sort of stuff, we can get that in a good position. If we go back to the transfers last season, and on the outs column, Dan Potts was the last one that went out. Elijah Adebayo has gone to Coventry for 5 million, and Corley Woodrow went for 400,000, again another cheap one. McAtee Taylor and Odell Batur have gone out on loan, but just there we've got basically 5.5 million, 6.2 million if you include the Mpanzu one from before. Over here, Daryl Dyke was the last one that came in, so we've got George Bello has come in. He's a left back, 22 years old, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. He's very strong with his left foot, as you'd hope he would be, and he's also reasonable with his right foot. He's not rated as good as Reggie Cannon. He's probably going to be more of a backup to Reggie Cannon, but it does mean I'm potentially looking at moving on Amari Bell, although because he can play centre-back, I might keep him around for the centre-back area as well. So that's George Bello for $2 million. Then Maxim Pascozzi from Tottenham has come in for £250,000. He's a centre back that can play on the left hand side. I'm not looking at him being a starter defender at the moment for me. But he's 6'2". He's got a reasonable left foot, very strong right foot. He can play either left or right of the central two. He's 2 stars current ability with potential to be 4.5 star in the future. Probably only going to get to 3.5 star, but there is that little bit there. So I just thought for £250,000, might as well bring him in. He's already got a value of 6 to 7 million. And then Oscar Cortez from Millionaires FC. He can play anywhere along this line. Now we're okay for out here, but I am looking at him potentially playing either here or here. The middle position, the attacking midfield central, the AMC, being the preferred option for him, but he can also cover out on the left if we need it. 20 years old, 4.5 star current ability, potentially only going to get to 3.5 star, but I just thought it's worth giving him a go. He looks good, he looks young, or he is young. 2.9 million, potentially rising to 3. Coming over to the transfer centre, and Nicola Cavlina is a goalkeeper that we're waiting on a work permit to come through. Now, if he doesn't get a work permit, we have still got 2 ESC slots available, which I will issue to him. He's reasonable with his left, very strong with his right. He is better than Jack Walton. If we find Jack Walton, then you see he's better shot stopping, the same physical, not quite as quick, not quite mentally, but the same communication. He's more eccentric, he's the same aerially. With his potential to get better, then I believe he will be better than Jack Walton anyway. So when he comes in as well, he's only looking at potentially coming in as a backup, so he's not got expectations to be a first choice, so we can see how he goes in pre-season. Daniel Numov is another goalkeeper. Now, if I'm potentially looking at still bringing him in, the reason why I went for him is because Wolfsburg were in for the previous one, Cavallina, and I thought I was going to miss out. So I've made a bid for this guy. He's available on a free transfer. I might just bring him in anyway. He does want to be a first choice, so it would be a case of we have him as their first choice and get rid of Jack Walton altogether. Again, when you compare the two, shot stopping, physical, speed, mentals, he's better than him. He's not as good at communication. I mean, he doesn't speak any English, so that figures. A little bit more eccentric, not as good aerially, but the same with distribution. Same height, 6'2", weighs a little bit less. Means he moves through the air a bit quicker in my eyes. Brandon Williams. Now, he's been released by Manchester United. Yeah, by Manchester United. He's available on a free transfer. We don't necessarily need a left or a right back, and he's only 2.5 star current ability with a potential for 4, but he's got reasonable pace about him. He's brave, he's determined. I just like the look of him. So I thought what we could do is potentially bring him in, and then it would potentially spell bad news for Bubba Ruckman. We'll have to wait and see how he fits into the squad. Might not go with it. And Axel Pearsold is going out on loan. Now, there has been a few players I've been trying to get, and I said earlier in the episode about the gentleman that had been leaving comments suggesting players, and one that I really did like the look of is this man, Mohamed Diamande, who I had him potentially earmarked for here. I went for Cortez in the end because his club, Nordtyskland, they were wanting a flat 6 million up front for him, and I'm not sure if I really want to part with 6 million. Not, it'd be different if I could do like 3 million up front, 3 million in instalments or something like that. But we'll see how we get on later in the transfer window. By the end of August, beginning of September, if we've got the 6 million there and we still need it, then we go for it. But there's other positions I need to concentrate on first. So we're looking at still needing to get that goalkeeper situation sorted out, which we could do. And then it's just a case I'm going to go through the squad planner, see who's available to bring in that's better than what we've already got, moving people on, and it's all positive so far. So our squad at the moment looks like that. If you want to know our fixtures for the start of the season, we start off with an away game against newly promoted Leeds United, at home to Crystal Palace, at home to Arsenal, a Carabao Cup second round game, away to Brighton, and at home to newly promoted Southampton. A much better start to the season than what we had last year. The other team that came up was Leicester, and we play them down here end of November. So I'm going to carry on playing through. I'll come back just before the start of the season to let you know what other transfers we've managed to make, what players we've managed to move on, and have a look at what our team is looking like for the new season. Okay, so welcome back again. Going to give a slight update because there's been some comings and goings. As you can see on screen, if we look at the transfer out column, you knew about Berry and Panzu and Pearsold going out on loan. Alan Campbell, one of our better midfielders, probably our best midfielder, central midfielder at least, has left the club to join Al Ittihad. They came in originally with something like a £12 million offer for him, or it might have been a £13 million offer with £3 million in add-ons. So basically I just whacked it up to 23 million, left the 3 million on add-ons, thinking it was going to scare them off, and it didn't. They agreed to the price, so he's moved. And when you look at this, £120,000 a week he's now being paid. He's on about 50,000, so he's more than doubled, if not trebled, his salary. Looking at his career, he's been at Motherwell from the start of his career for like 6 years, then he came to us for 3 years. I didn't want to sell him. I would have preferred to have kept him, but 23 million, when you're Luton Town, it's hard to say no. Bearing in mind our budget at the beginning of the season was 30 million. That was pretty much renewing our transfer budget. In terms of the ins, you knew about Rockman, Onyeka, Cavallina, and I believe you knew about Brandon Williams. I'm trying to remember what I'd recorded earlier in this episode. So yeah, he's come in, can play left and right, very versatile. He's got 4-star potential. Seems like a no-brainer to me, especially as Reggie Cannon had an offer as well from Saudi Arabia. But as you can see, he's decided to stay at Luton. He snubbed Saudi Arabia to stay at Luton Town. I'm still in shock now. I mean, to be fair, it only happened about 5 minutes ago. But I'm in shock that Reggie Cannon has turned down Saudi Arabia to come here. Apparently, he couldn't agree terms with Al Nassr. So what that means is when we go back here, we've also brought in Matt O'Reilly from Celtic for 5 million. He's a central midfielder, can play the deep lane playmaker role. He's also pretty handy there. I've been using him there in a couple of games in pre-season. He's scored a goal or two. He's Danish, 23 years old, 4-star potential, ability, 3.5-star current. He adds a lot to our team. I think I'm really happy with that signing. And yeah, when I saw the name, I wasn't expecting it to say that he was Danish. Then we've got Harvey White, who we got on a free transfer. He can play the deep line playmaker role. He can also do the ball-winning midfielder role. For a free transfer as a squad player, I felt he was pretty decent to bring in, actually. He's 3.5-star potential ability, 3-star current at the moment. In the deep line playmaker role, in that position, he's 2.5 stars. Yeah, 2.5 stars. So I just thought for a free transfer, why not? Previously, he'd been at Tottenham. Then he went on loan to Derby and on loan to St Mirren, and then we've picked him up on a free. Then we've got Emil Breivik. He's on loan from Arsenal. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He can play in so many positions, this guy, and he's pretty good in all them positions as well. I mean, when you look at the star ratings on there, he is pretty handy in many positions, and he's definitely going to start for us in the centre of our midfield in the deep line playmaker role. Deep line playmaker role. I keep getting confused if it's deep line or deep lane, but yeah, it's deep line. So he's coming on a free transfer. There is the option in his contract, an optional... no, hang on, where are we? Optional future fee of 3.7 million. I actually think if we sign him for if he improves like I think he will, to buy him for 3.7 million, I think would be an absolute steal. We're paying, I think it's 700,000 for the year. If we go back here, yeah, £725,000 for the year, £73,000 monthly loan cost, and then the potential for a £3.7 million fee if he works out. If he doesn't, we send him back. But somehow I don't think we are going to be sending him back. So yeah, there's the one about Reggie Cannon. They offered me something like 6 million for him. I said no, matches minimum fee release clause, and you got yourself a deal. They matched it with 10.25 million. But like I say, he's turned them down. Jason Denayer, he's been wanted by Al Qadsia. They wanted him on loan to begin with. If we can look at his contract, no, it won't let us now. They wanted him on loan to begin with. Then they were going to offer up to 14 million for him. He does have a minimum fee release clause in his contract of 15 million. If they give me that outright for him, they can have him. If not, he's staying with us. Oscar Cortez was wanted by Regensburg on loan. Again, I said no, they weren't going to pay anything for him or any wages. I'm not negotiating with him. I don't want to loan him out anyway. I want him at the club playing for us next season. So again, they can sling their hook. Then we've got Pagino. He's a player we've put in a bid for. We're waiting on a work permit decision. 27-year-old Spaniard, not an international, but he can play left or right. We do need some more depth in them wider roles, because at the moment we've got Escoval out injured, and now Ogbene, I think it is, has just picked up an injury as well. They're not big serious injuries, but Escoval's been out for a few weeks. Ogbene's going to be out for another few weeks. So we do now see that with a couple of them out injured, we are a little bit light on the ground. So this just helps us out with that one. So he's going to cost us 9 million, 9.75 I think it is. So even if you take that out, we're still going to have 25 million pounds left in the transfer budget, and our wage budget has actually been reduced. So we've still got about 160,000 pounds to spend on the transfer budget. Take off, I think it's 35,000 for Pagino, and we've still got 125,000 pounds to spend in the wage budget as well. When you look at our squad planner at the moment, in goal, covered. Left back, we've got Amari Bell, Brandon Williams, Bubba Ruckman, George Bello, we're covered. I'm potentially looking at trying to move on Bubba Ruckman, but it probably won't happen because he's new with us. So I might have George Bello just go out on loan or something like that. He is only a fringe player. Bubba Ruckman was a squad player. Brandon Williams is a squad player. Amari Bell's a regular starter. At the moment, I am starting Brandon Williams in the friendlies. So I don't think we're going to have any dynamics issues there. Right back, obviously Reggie Cannon staying was a surprise. So we've got Reece Burke as well, who, Reggie Cannon's an important player, so he will be starting for us, but then you've got squad player. Breivik won't be here. Gabriel Osho, we are trying to move on, but at the moment nobody is interested in him. So it could be that we just send him out on loan because nobody, like I say, wants to buy him. So again, I don't see we're going to have any real issues there. In here, for our central defence, plenty of cover in central defence on both sides. In central midfield, Breivik, O'Reilly, Onyeka, Leyduni, Harvey White. Again, we're covered. We've got 5 players for 2 positions. And again, when you look at them, you've got 3 important players, regular starter, squad player. We might have an issue there, but if so, we'll have to try and move people on. Leyduni is still unhappy with me over a team talk against Liverpool last season. He's someone that if that doesn't disappear, I will be looking at moving him on. He's also on £45,000 a week, so he's one of our better paid players. Out on the right, we've got Escoval, Ogbene, who are pretty much our 2 regular ones, and like I said, they're both out injured. Jordan Clark is as cover. Gomez can cover. Cortez can cover. But Cortez does start out here for us, really. Gomez also out there. And then in the middle, we've got Escoval, Clark, O'Reilly, Cortez. Like I said, I think we just need one more person that can play on the left-hand side. If they can play on the right as well, that's great. But one more for the left-hand side, I think we'll be covered. And then up front, we've got Dyke, Morris. McAtee's not here. He's out on loan, so I need to take him off. I'm looking at getting another striker just a fringe player, breakthrough prospect, something like that, just to provide a bit of backup in case one of them gets injured. We've then got nobody to put on the bench. And let's face it, with injuries on the Football Manager early access, as it is at the moment, we are likely to get someone injured. So I just want to bring in another striker from there, because looking at our dev centre, we have a look at our squad for our under-21s, we're a bit bare in there, not any real talent to want to bring through. Same with our under-18s, if we look in there, sort these in order of position. We've potentially got Dylan Stitt, who's 1-star current ability, 3.5 star to 2.5 star potential, doesn't really cut it. So that's something I'm going to be looking at doing as well. So next time you see me, it will be probably just before we're about to start the season. If I show you our tactic that we're playing, I need to change the team about, because that's not the team we're going to be using for the next friendly. You see we've got Escobar and Ogbene out injured. But we're playing the 4-2-3-1. We've got Denea as a libero with Burke. It will be Reggie Cannon. He needs to come back into the fold. I've removed him because I didn't think he was going to be playing. So we bring him back in there. What I'm liking about this, with Denea as the libero and Reggie Cannon, or Reece Burke as it has been recently, as the inverted fullback, is actually watching how Denea moves forward and Cannon comes over. Obviously, with Williams on wing back on attack, he does bomb forward, but it does still leave us with the two here. And I'm not sure how badly we might get caught out in transition against better teams, but it's so much fun seeing Denea ending up around here. It's so much fun. He's really meant to be just going into the midfield, sort of making the third person in there sort of thing, while he comes over and he's sort of bombed forward sort of thing. So it should be something like that. But what it's ending up like is the formation we have when we go forward ends up being that. So it ends up being a 3-3-3-1. And it is so much fun to watch. It really is. And let's just move these about. I'm going to have to reset them all now. Oh, that's frustrating. Why didn't it just reset anyway? Inverted fullback. Then libero. I think I had him on support. Or did I have him on defend? I think I'll put him on defend, actually, regardless of what he was on before. But yeah, so great fun so far this formation has been, and we're getting more familiar with it. We're starting to look a bit better in the formation. So the next time you see me will be around the start of the season, unless anything big happens between now and then. But I will still be looking for more transfers to come in. Like I say, I'm looking for someone that can play around the left-hand side primarily, and then the right. But, you know, saying that, where we've got Pagino coming in, that's probably that area covered. So there's not really a great deal more I'm looking for. I want a striker, but it's only a breakthrough prospect, squad player type thing. So this could be the last update until we're ready to start the season. But let's see what happens. Okay, so the final update for this video. Reggie Cannon has finally left us. He's agreed a fee with Al Ittihad this time, the same club that Alan Campbell went to. They've paid the 10.25 minimum fee release clause. So from Al Ittihad, we've had 36 million from him this summer. Not bad at all. Although I say 34, potentially 36. Over this side though, Pagino is the club's record signing. He's joined us for 9.25 million from Las Palmas. We did go through him briefly in the last episode. The one thing I don't like is the fact that he is susceptible to injuries and he's fairly inconsistent, and he doesn't like big matches. So I could live to regret that. Could be a flop for the club's record signing, but he's two-footed. He can do multitude of positions. He's looked good in pre-season as well. He's got a couple of goals in there. I'm happy with that. I said I wanted a striker, and we've got a squad player there in Ricardo Pepe. He's come in for 4.5 million from PSV. He looks reasonable enough. He's both footed as well. He can be a lot of positions. He can do pressing forward. He can do the advance forward. He's not particularly good at the complete forward, so he might have to change his role in their team if and when he plays. But, you know, like I said, I just wanted someone as a backup for Dyke and Colton Morris. If we go to this screen, now this one here, Gabriel Osho, I've been trying to get rid of him. We had an intermediary that's been getting involved as well. He's turned down 4 offers from championship clubs. So now I've put him in the under 21s and I've basically cut all ties with him. He's not happy with me, but hopefully the rest of the squad will not be too disheartened by it. Now we are going to go to the ins because there is still one more player to come in. This is a scout there. But Mohamed Diamande, if you remember earlier on in the video I said about a guy called Adrian that has been recommending players to me. This was one of them. I did want him earlier in the summer, but I didn't know if I was prepared to pay the £6 million minimum fee release clause for him. I've decided I'm going to. He's got plenty of money in the bank. With Osho moving out of the squad, we can fit him in without any issues. So he's waiting on a work permit decision. He's going to be coming in from Nordtyskland for £6 million. So he will provide cover there for us. He can also play out on the left, which is another bit of cover there. So all in all, quite happy with that. Thank you for the recommendation. Really appreciate it. Let's see how he gets on in game. So that is pretty much it. We are now ready for the start of our season. It is match day. It's the 10th of August. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've just left the boys in the hotel having a bit of breakfast. We're going to travel from the hotel to Ellen Road in a moment for the game. And hopefully you will join us for it as well. We'll have Leeds and Crystal Palace tomorrow. And as you can see, we've also been drawn against West Ham, who knocked us out of the FA Cup in the second round of the Carabao Cup. That was quite frustrating. But with the way this tactic's been performing, with our pre-season friendlies have picked up and slowly improved, I'm confident that we've got enough about us this season. And I think this squad of players is going to be good enough to do what we need it to do. I think we've got a nice blend of youth and experience and whatever else. So, yeah, join me in the next episode, which will be Season 2, Episode 1 of the Let's Play, where we see if we can survive our second season in the Premier League and maybe finish a little bit higher than where we did last season. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.